Real Talk disclaimer. The information provided by the host on this platform is for education and awareness purposes only. All information provided on this platform is provided in good faith. We make no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, validity, and reliability of information shared by the host or show guests. The views and opinions of guests on the show do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the host of Real Talk. Under no circumstances do the host, show guests, sponsors, or affiliates assume responsibility for the actions of any viewer.
Our greatest glory is rising when we fall. So don't be discouraged, don't you be appalled. It's okay if you fall and maybe even lose your spark. Just make sure in the end you rise from the dark. It's time to rise up, time to work, and time to chase your dreams. The Lord has the final say, so your soul is redeemed. This message is to help you with your self-esteem, as faith will take you places that we have never seen.
Welcome to Real Talk. We are back again. Hello, Tomarra. How are you doing on today? You sitting mighty high. You sitting mighty high like you're sitting on the stool. But hello, Tomarra with the T. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. We are back here. We had a wonderful return on last week with Miss Lynn Jones, and she has reached out to us, and we have had a good conversation with her, and so we're excited about our show on tonight. We'll bring on our special guests in a few minutes, but what we want to do, we want to share with our viewers that if you would just go ahead and type somebody's name in, tell them to tune in to Real Talk. We're here on Thursdays at 6 o'clock. We have the beautiful Miss Tomarra with us on today. I'm sorry to inform you all that Tonya Lynn will not join us on today. She's got tied up and she won't be available with us on tonight, but we're going to have a great show anyway. Okay, we're going to have a great show anyway, because we have all of our viewers that are tuning in, and all of your friends. If you would do us one favor, go ahead and share this on your page so people can see how to find our show. They can look up and see it on your page. We just want to flood Facebook right now, and let them know that we are on and we're excited about what's going to take place on today. Okay. There are several ways that you can actually tune in to our show. Of course, you can go on Facebook and you can look up Z Andre Huff on his page, on my page. You can see us, and then we have a Facebook page, Real Talk with Pastor Z and Bishop T. You can go on Facebook there. Now, if something should happen on Z Andre Huff page, go to Real Talk. That's what happened on last week. Something happened and they shut us off on my regular page, but we were still running on Real Talk with Pastor Z and Bishop T. And of course, everyone that's on here, we can look on your page, but you can also follow us on our YouTube channel. That's Real Talk with Pastor Z and Bishop T. So we're on YouTube. If you have someone in your family or a friend that does not do Facebook, you can share the link on YouTube, and you can also comment. And as you comment, of course, we will see your comments come up on the screen. And so let's get ready to do roll call. But first, before we do that, how have your day been, Tomarra? I know you've been busy.
Yeah, it's been real busy. Very busy. But I was able to, get out in time and get home and get situated. But it was a busy day. Busy day.
A busy day, but you made it.
But I made it.
Good news is it is Thursday, and we have one more day for this week. And it's been a week, haven't it?
One more day.
It's been a week, haven't it? It's been some cold days. Matter of fact, our superintendent was looking out for our children on Monday and Tuesday. We canceled school on Monday, and on Tuesday we had a 2-hour delay. We can't control the thermostat on the outside,
Right.
but we can make sure that our young people are safe, and as well as the parents during this time of the year.
Right.
Before we bring our guests on, we have about 20 people on right now. But before we bring our guests on, let's go ahead and speak to those who are speaking to us. We have Miss Katrina Davis. Hello, Miss Katrina. Hold on, before we do this, let me play a little music.
Yeah, play a little music.
Play a little something. Let's see what we can find here. We can find here to play. Just how about this? Let's play that while we. That ain't working. What about this one? Okay, so while we say hello to all the people that are joining in, we're gonna play a little music. Tomarra, we got Katrina Davis that's saying hello. Hello and welcome back to Real Talk. Conteria Williams, welcome back to Real Talk. Miss Mary Smitherman, hello and welcome back to Real Talk. Shanice Wyatt, welcome back to Real Talk. We have Miss Doris Payne. Hello and welcome back to Real Talk. We got our Vice President of our school board of the Gadsden City School, Mark Dayton. Hello, welcome to Real Talk. Miss Pamela Renee Smith. We have Dana J. Huff, my brother. Welcome to Real Talk. Share on your page. Go ahead and type somebody's name in, so when they get the notification, they'll go ahead and join us right here on Real Talk. We welcome all of you to Real Talk, and as others join us, we welcome them as well. Okay, we welcome them as well. Tonight we have a very special guest. He's been here before. He's no stranger to Real Talk. Is none other than our superintendent of the Gadsden City School System, Mr. Keith Blackwell. Everyone, let's welcome him to our show as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We're glad to have you with us on today, and thank you for taking out of your busy schedule to be a part of our show on tonight. Everybody welcome him to Real Talk on tonight. Speak to him. I don't know who's ringing.
Hey, Reverend, I mean, the names that you mentioned, I'm assuming those are people that are keying themselves into the show, correct?
Right. They are tuning in. They are tuning in. We have Miss Sharon Maness, our assistant superintendent, is tuning in.
I got to give a quick shout out to one of the names that I saw. Me and her go way back. I don't get to see her as much. Miss Doris Payne. Miss Doris will call me every once in a while and make sure she gives me that good old Doris advice, which I miss. I used to see her a good bit, but I haven't seen her in a while. So I want to say hello to Miss Doris. I do miss you. So
all right. And listen, if y'all have y'all phone on, turn on vibrate, because I think that's what I'm hearing, a dinging, somebody texting going on. So make sure your phone is on vibrate, okay? So we won't be interrupted. So you have a lot of people that are chiming in saying hello, and we want to welcome you back to Real Talk. How have you been, man? How have the journey been?
It's been a fast journey. Time goes by. I always say time waits for no one. It just seems like just the other day I was getting announced as superintendent. It's already been over 3 years, so it's quick. So but I've enjoyed it. I enjoy my school system, love my school system. So it's been a fun journey.
Awesome, awesome, and we have really enjoyed the work that you and Miss Menes have done in steering this ship thus far. We have a lot of exciting good news that we're going to share with the people of Gadsden about our system, and all those that are actually viewing. We're going to share some things with you on today. So here's what we're going to share. First of all, let's talk about the report card, because everybody wants to know what is the grade in our system. And so share with us what the grade is in our system, and then we'll go in detail about that.
Okay, our system as a entire system, we are currently a B. We were a B last year as well, so that's the first time that in recorded report card history that we've been at least a B or better back to back. So that's good news, but we still have a lot of work to do. So that's where we stand as a system.
Okay. We stand as a B. Okay. And we had some schools to increase greatly and will be rewarded or have already been rewarded.
Right.
Share with us those schools that did a magnificent job and increased by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, we've got 3 A schools. We have Mitchell Elementary went from a B to an A. Donahue Elementary that has had a very steady climb. And within a couple of years they've gone from a C to they are also an A school, as well as Ura Brown. Walnut Park had a very big jump. So Walnut Park and Ura Brown will both be recognized at the state board meeting on February the 12th. Ura Brown for being a 100 on the report card, and then Walnut Park for being in the top 25 schools in the state that had the largest increase in the report card score. So that's big for us. And some other schools had some jumps. Gadsden Middle went up, slightly, and Sampson went up, Litchfield went up. So it was good. But like I said, there's some work still to be done. And like I told you, and the other board members at the last board meeting, that's good. It's nice to beat our chest and say, look what we've done so far, but we still have work to do. I mean, we've got to get better. We want to get better. We're not going to just sit on this and think that this is where we need to be. We have aspirations.
Okay. Sounds good. So let's talk a little bit. I don't know what that ding is. Are you on your computer, Tomarra?
Yes, I am. Is that what that?
It could be that mute your is it muted?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the dinging is, but we'll get it straightened out for long. Okay. So here's the thing that I want us to discuss. What goes into the making of the report card, the score?
So it's a little different from elementary all the way up to the high school. High school gets graduation rate and college career readiness standards put into the high school report card. But the majority of what you see is going to be, you get a grade for academic achievement, you get a grade for academic growth. Attendance is included in that too. So if you see those, or someone's reading some type of article, academic growth is where a kid currently stands prior to the year, and them improving as the year goes on. So they're growing in their education, they're growing academically. They may not be at the level they need to be, but they're showing growth and they're improving in their areas of the academics. Academic achievement is being their own level where they need to be according to their grade. Then you get into attendance, the high school, like I said, college career readiness standards, which is a whole different topic as far as the things they can do to meet that standard. And then graduation rate at the high school is a component of a high school report card score.
Okay. All right. Listen, we're going to take a pause right here for a minute.
Okay.
Can you get your daughter in there to see if your alerts are on the computer?
I'm getting her right now.
Yeah, see if that's what, because it keep dinging.
Look, I told you one before we got on when you had me start on. Look, I have to rely on her to help me through some of this technology. So when you were saying the dinging, I was looking to see if there's anything popping up on the screen, but I don't see anything that pops up when it dings.
Okay, I don't know what we want everyone to actually hear what we have going on. So let's see. You're a popular man, so and it look like it's on your end. Because I keep seeing your thing move when it ding.
Hang on.
Yeah, it's on your end.
Is it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's coming in strong.
I hear it. I've been sitting there the whole time thinking something's dinging. I hope that's not me, but now you're telling it's me, so I guess.
Yeah. Get your daughter in there. Tell her mute all your notifications.
Look, I got my wife coming too. She's she just retired on us from Emma Sampson for all those years in the library, and she was the technology person at Emma Sampson. So as soon as she walks in, she'll probably know what it is right off the bat, because I don't know. I'm looking around to see any type of button I can push to stop it.
Yeah. They'll get it. Don't worry about it. We'll get it. We'll get it.
But I would like to, while we're waiting on them, I guess you can still at least hear me talk, correct?
Right, we can.
Let me explain to those out there when you see graduation rate at the high school, because I think a lot of people don't understand how that's calculated. It is to us as superintendents across state, we feel that it's not exactly fair to high school. So graduation rate is done by a cohort. So as you come in as a freshman, let's say you have 300 freshmen come in. Well, the graduation rate is based off of how many of them finish when they become seniors. So it's not based off just your senior year.
Right.
The issue for us is that if you have 300 freshmen come in and then summer gets here, everyone goes out in the summer, and you come back sophomore year, where you may have 20 that don't show back up, and you don't know where they went. They didn't come in the summer to withdraw. They didn't tell anybody, hey, we're going to move or we're going wherever. So now they're no-shows is what they're technically called. So now you're trying to find them. They could have gone back to a home country. They could have gone to another state. So you call every contact number you have. We even use social media to try to track down students. If you know who their parents are, you look on social media trying to find if they've moved somewhere, going to the school. If you can't find them, then they get counted as dropouts. So for us, we feel like, well, we're doing all we can to find them. We didn't know where they went during the summer because we don't have them during the summer. Even if they do go to summer school, you still have July. And so as that goes on for 3 years, the end result is the number who walk across stage and get their diploma based off how many came in as freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the graduation rate is calculated for all high schools.
And each portion and each information that you have shared and that we are telling you that plays a part in the overall grade, each one has a percentage that plays a part in that particular grade. So you're talking about attendance, you're talking about the graduation rate. It's not just the academics alone. And then you got to understand if there's a great number of non-English speaking students. You got to take in consideration on how they do during test time. So it's a lot that plays a role. I was sharing that with someone today, and they were shocked to know. I said, y'all just look at the overall grade, and then you'll say, oh, they ain't teaching them anything. They're not teaching them anything, or those kids down there are unlearned. You don't really know exactly everything that goes into the overall grade. I said, but if you tune into our show today, we'll have the superintendent express and share.
All right, I've got my tech crew in here.
Okay, so who I'm talking to?
I've got both of them.
Both of you are. Okay, if you can mute his notifications or just put the do not disturb on, it would keep anything alerts from chiming in. We getting a chime.
My daughter said it's on do not disturb now.
Okay, it's on now. We shouldn't hear anything else. Thank you, daughter.
We haven't heard it ding so I guess we're good.
We're good.
All right.
All right. Okay. All right. So
And another component to the report card for every school is chronic absenteeism. So that also becomes somewhat of an issue for schools, because we do want kids in school. And Dr. Scoots and her team, they do a great job. The principals have their own teams at every school to address those who aren't coming to school. So a lot goes into that. But ultimately, by law, it's the responsibility of parents to have their kids in school. So Dr. Smoots goes through the whole process, along with, like I said, the help from every principal and their attendance team, to make sure these kids are in school. But when you go as far, because once you cross the 18 number for a kid, then they count as chronic absentee. So when it gets to that point, and you may have to have a petition, or a parent may have to go to court because of attendance, well, it may be a couple of months or a few months prior to them ever going to in front of a judge for attendance. Well, that whole time the kid still could be missing. But we as a school system, or a particular school, will get dinged for that on a report card. We know we want them in school. We have things in place to try to get them in school. But then we take the burden and we take the negative marks for attendance, when ultimately that's the responsibility of a parent. So that's been an argument too at the state level from superintendents, is those are two things that we don't have total control over. Where if someone goes in the summer and goes somewhere, or someone's just not getting their child to school despite all the efforts we put into it, that we still get dinged for it on a report card. So when you see report card scores, there's a lot more that goes into that than just academics. Now, academics is a major component, obviously, but there's other factors that go into a school's A, B, C, or D grade. So I just like to get that out there, so that, because a lot of people I don't think really understand that, and that's no fault of any parent. I mean, they don't. Those are things we deal with. Those are things in the laws and the things that get passed on to us. So that's just I just get that out there.
Exactly. So, did you share with us? Did you share with us? Did you share with us about the schools that actually had an A? Did you share those? You did. Okay, I'm just making sure that we understand that we have a lot of schools that are doing great work, and so share with them the reason why it's important that our children go with their zone.
Yeah, so that comes up from time to time too, because if it was they just pick and choose where you want to go, then you may have one school flooded with more than they can handle than opposed to others. So we want every school to be successful. And I think sometimes there's a misconception about certain schools, and they have better this or better that. I'm telling you, all the teachers within our school put a lot of effort into what they do. There's no particular school or anywhere that would get better things over anybody else. So we want everyone to understand, support the school that you live in, support the zone for the school that your kid's in. And when parents do that, when parents get involved in schools, when parents get involved with their students, and I have said this I'll say it until the day I'm no longer around even, to do it. Kids are going to be so much more successful when parents are involved at their school level, at the school that they're zoned for. And they just stay and set expectations for their children as they go to school. I expect you to make these grades. I expect you to have this type of behavior, and hold them to those expectations. And it's amazing what that does. It's amazing how well that they'll do. Okay, hang on. I'll come back in and check this ding.
It may be on my end when they're making comments. I'm not sure, but it's still dinging. Let's see if I can get this.
Yeah, mine is on do not disturb.
Okay.
Right.
For some reason.
Yeah, it dinged and then a comment popped up.
So that's what we're doing. Let's get this. So let's see if we can just do this right here. And I just add the comments as they come up. Okay, let's try it this way. So as the comments come up, I'll put them up myself. I had them coming up automatically. I don't know. It might have been that. So let's move on.
All right.
So you were saying, go ahead and finish saying what you were saying.
We want parents to believe in the schools where they live. We want parents to take pride in the schools that they're zoned for, because we feel they all put in a lot of work. And, they just all need that support. Some schools may have more support than others, but if everyone will just get involved, know the teachers, establish that relationship with the teachers through email, so that the teacher, that you're comfortable with the teacher. I think too often parents don't get to know their teachers, and then months go by, and then something may happen, or the kid may have some behavior, and there's no relationship there. There's no relationship between parent and teacher that they could have had conversations throughout the entire school year. I mean, we want our kids to do well. No, none of our teachers or principals want to see any of our kids fail. We're not in it for that. That's not what we're in it for. We want every kid to be successful all the way to the day they walk across that stage of graduation. They step down if they get their diploma. They go sit in their seat, and graduation is about to be over with. And when they walk off that football field, they know what they're going to do. We've given them 12 years of education, the best that we can give them. But I said this when I was principal of the high school, and I'll always say it. I lived at that high school for many years. I saw what it meant for those kids to have someone involved with them from the time they were freshmen to seniors, regardless of where they lived in this city, regardless of how much money or whatever. None of that stuff matters when it comes to just being supportive of your child. It's a very powerful thing to witness. A parent staying involved with their children for 4 years and setting expectations. We need that. They need that. Teaching education is it's a tough job, and we don't ask for sympathy. We're not asking for sympathy. We chose to do this. So this is what we chose to do. We just asked for, the cooperation, the collaboration. That's what we always ask for. We're never asking anybody to feel sorry for us. Like I said, this is what we do. We just want you to be involved.
Perfect. Tomarra, you have anything you want to ask them before we move forward?
Well, just to kind of piggyback on what he said, because in what I do every day, we do run into the same thing when we get those referrals, whether it's from the school or from the courts for truancy. So parental involvement is very important. Very important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I saw what someone said, attend PTO meetings. Talk a little bit about that.
Same thing. That to me, PTO principals, and I can speak personal. For my time as a principal, and I know any principal that was on that's listening. I don't know who all's out there that's listening, but parents who get involved with PTA, PTO, PTSO, they all have different acronyms sometimes. Just being there to support what the school does, whether it be, hey, we're going to have like a lunch for the teachers. We're going to thank you, teachers and custodians and lunchroom workers and aides and everyone in the school for what you do. So we're going to bring potluck, a lunch, or we're going to go get it catered. And they all set that up so that the principal can still go about their day and be involved. But it's kind of a thank you. Or whether you'll have programs at the school, it's just, those things mean a lot to principals. They really do. I mean, parents may not think that they do, but they do. Having parents who want to get involved and be there to help out, because helping hands with everything that we do in the school world is very welcome.
Awesome. Let's share a little bit about some good news as we continue to talk about good news here. Mm-hmm. We now have some buses, some brand new buses with cameras, with heat, air, mm-hmm. with that we've been even have a recording cameras, for incidents or anything as such. Mm-hmm. How many buses do we have?
We have 20. I may get one more because they kind of sent me something about prices. I may get one more, but I'm going to probably get a few spare buses as well, because there'll be those days when we have maybe a lot of athletic events going on that we're going to need more than what we currently have. But right now we have 20 brand new buses, and I'll probably get 1 or 2 more to add to that to make it 21 or 22, along with about 4 or 5 spare buses. People have probably seen those buses sitting at the high school. That's they'll probably sit
They
there.
look real nice. I had an opportunity to pass by a couple of times. They
Yeah.
look real nice, and we're excited about that. And I know the youth, our children, are excited about it. And I know that you have some incentive for those who desire to actually drive our buses. You're
Mhm.
looking for drivers as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let me say too, I'm glad you brought up transportation, because I know sometimes people get on social media and they start talking about things, and sometimes it's not factual, and people read that and think that it is. Because if you ever have questions about transportation, anybody can reach out to me or email me, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. But I want to explain transportation as we rely on the state for funding. So by statute, by Alabama statute, city school systems are not required to have buses. County school systems are required to have buses. So if a city chooses to have buses, then the state says, okay, we'll fund you for the buses, but we're only going to fund you for schools that the majority of, or you have a good majority of kids who live outside a 2-mile radius. And it says that in the statute. So sometimes you'll get questions about why certain schools have buses and others don't. It's because the state comes in, they look at addresses, they look at the zone, they look at the lines, and they say, okay, this school will earn buses, but this school may not, because most kids live close enough to school. So we have to follow that, because if we didn't, then we would have to fund out of our own money, which we need every bit we can get for all the other things we do, to provide buses at other schools. So it's not that we don't want to provide every school with buses, because we'd love to, but it's just what we get funded for. And we talk to the state, and we try to work around some things to ask, and we will ask, but they'll come back and say, no, that doesn't qualify. So it's, I just want people to know that's how that works for buses. So even though we have new buses, that's not going to necessarily change the schools that currently have buses. That doesn't all of a sudden mean that every school is going to get a bus. I wish we could, but again, we get funded by the state based off of the parameters that they set, because we're a city school system.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to understand that part of what we do. We'll look at routes, and we'll look at where the bus stops are. And I do appreciate, the company that we've used in the past. Most everyone knows we've used Woods Brothers. They've been good to us over the years. As most everyone knows, we lost Miss Tammy, a couple years ago. That was Miss Tammy. I knew her for a long time. She knew my family back when my family lived on Hope Street, and my grandparents were on Hope, and one was on Blythe, and she knew my family. She knows my parents. So that was a tough loss for us. So we're grateful for all the years that they've given us. But the financial time was right.
Right.
There was an opportunity that we could purchase buses and not have any bus debt, which is big for the school system going forward.
Right. And for those that may think that we push Woods Transportation out, we did not. We honored the contract, and plus those drivers and some of the workers there at Woods Transportation is going to join us in driving our new buses. So I oftentimes run into some of them, and I tell them we appreciate the relationship that we have had down through the years, and how they took care of our young people with their company. So they're well appreciated, and we thank them for many years of service of working with the Gadsden City School System. So we don't want anybody to put a black eye on that and try to make it look like something went wrong just because you decide to move in a different direction. We was able, it was the right time to purchase brand new buses. You can't argue that. They're beautiful. Our young people is going to appreciate them, and we appreciate them. And we thank you for coming with that vision to go ahead and move forward on it. It'll be prayerfully, almost 6 to 7 years before something major happened to those buses. But until then, it's just oil change and a few other things that we'll have to deal with. So we definitely appreciate that, and we wanted to let the public know about us, the transportation part. Also, I want to talk to you a little bit about the different athletic departments that are taking place and the sports that we have, and how well we're doing in sports. Football season is over with. They had a pretty good season as they did last year. Now we're actually getting ready for the area tournament in basketball, and Coach Ralph Graves and the basketball team was doing well, and the girls will be entering to their area tournament as well with Coach Jay Tinker, and the girls are playing as well. So we've been great support this year. Great support. Now I was glad to see great support from the Gadsden City Schools fans. So
Right.
continue to cheer them on. We definitely need it because prayerfully and hopefully we can get the big one this time, because there's been some reclassification down in Montgomery. And I want to get your input on that. If you want to give a shout out or say anything about how the basketball program is going and what to look forward to for as the spring teams. I saw you mention something about the track team and softball. And have we started pickleball yet?
No. You probably think that's probably coming at some point in time, as popular
Exactly.
as become. And you already know, and most people know, we added flag football a few years ago. That's really grown.
Right.
That's really grown across the state too, because when we got into it, there was only 52 or 53 teams in the state. Now there's enough. You have regions and you have classifications. So it was great to see that. But you're right, the basketball teams, they've it's amazing how fast the year goes with some of these sports programs. But your area tournament starts late next week, I believe. I think the girls will be playing in Fort Payne. The boys will be at home.
Mm-hmm.
And we're only a couple weeks away from your baseball starting and softball starting. Soccer, if I'm not mistaken, soccer starts here just in a few days. They're next week. So that's the tough part about spring sports too, is that they start and they're titled spring sports, but they start when it's really cold. It's really cold those first few weeks in some of these outdoor sports, which is
right.
tough as a fan and tough on the kids, I know, to but then you'll have track, you've got golf, there's just a lot.
Mark said the tennis team is doing awesome as well. Adrian said that I only asked about pickleball because she's a big pickleball player. So Adrian is one of our board of education members as well that has joined us, and we thank all of you all for joining us. So what do you think about the separation between the public and the private schools?
I think, before I get into that, I know you mentioned about the fan base. And I don't know, I know it's been a while since I've been on the show with you. And you've been around here as long as I have, as far as the city. And you've gone to a lot of sporting events just like I have.
Right.
And there's one thing you can say about Gadsden that a lot of other schools will say, is that when we travel somewhere, especially the playoffs, we show up.
Right.
And I love that. When you go to JSU, if we're there, Gadsden shows up. And I've said this in different things that since the Final Four last year. After the Final Four game, we lost by one, tough loss. I was down on a little concourse at the bottom, and Heath Harmon, the current Athletic Association director, I know him from when he was at Oxford when I was at Gadsden City, and he came up and he shook my hand. Hey, great game, tough loss. He said, but I want to tell you this. He said, since we've been here at the Final Four this whole week, he said, your city has had the largest amount of fans of anybody we've had down here.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted you to know that he said we were talking earlier about how many Gadsden people were here for the Final Four game. He said, we hope that y'all get to come back many years. And I said, hey, so do we. We hope to see you next year. So it is awesome. So thank you all, everybody that's listening. Thank you for showing up and supporting those kids. They work hard to get to that point. Sometimes they may fall short,
Right.
but when they do make it, we show up. So I think that's awesome. I just want to say
And it's very important. And I know I'm gonna catch a lot of slack about this, but I say all the time, if you're a fan, you're a fan.
Right.
I look at Cleveland Browns. They're not winning, but they got fans in the stand. You look at Oakland Raiders, who, LA Raiders, they're not winning. They probably going to have the first draft pick, but they got fans in the stand. And that's one thing I want us to get to the point, regardless of the outcome. If you're rooting for these young people, root for the young people, regardless. Show up and root for them. And yes, I've seen a drastic turnaround, because I used to be the biggest one that said Gadsden City got the worst fans in the world. I used to say that all the time, because even at football games, I'm like, do we know when to cheer? We don't know when to cheer. You know, I used to say that all the time. I remember when I used to announce the basketball lineup, I'm calling out these players' name and nobody's cheering. But thank God it's done turned around. So let's keep it going, you all. Let's continue to root for them, because they need it. They need us rooting for them. They're young people. They're going to make mistakes. But even when they make mistakes, continue to encourage them and cheer them on. We've been reclassified.
We have.
And we got a schedule that's going to be coming up next year in football and basketball. It's going to look a lot different than the schedules we're looking at now. There's no South Side on our schedule. So we definitely need to encourage and continue to stay behind our coaches and stay behind our young people as they continue to strive for excellence. They want to win. They're not out there trying to lose. So any encouragement we can give them is always a plus, always a plus.
And you're correct. You know, the reclassification, I'm sure everyone by now has seen that, because it's all in social media world, and anywhere else you want to read about it, you can read why that happened. I mean, you know, for a lot of superintendents, it was kind of we kind of saw it coming. This has kind of been building for the last couple of years. And if you read about the you know, you got the voucher program where kids can take $7,000 and, you know, and use that at a private school. And then look, if that's the parent's choice, that's their choice. I'm not going to fault a parent for doing what they think is best. But it eventually turned into an issue that I think everyone read about. And then that kind of sets things in motion to say, well, we're going to divide public and private. So as it stands, you know, at first we thought it was going to be just the playoffs, but it turned into just the classification itself. You got a public side and you have a private side.
Right.
For us, because the private schools were taken out of all the on their own, well, that reduced the number of schools left on the side. So it went from 1A, from 7A to 1A to 6A. So 6A, basically what 7A used to be.
Right. And I'm kind of on board with the dividing, because public schools can recruit. It's not illegal for them to recruit, especially if you pay for tuition. If you pay for tuition, you can recruit players. Private schools can. Public schools cannot. So when you stacking a team, I don't care if it's 1A all the way up to 6A, it's difficult when you can stack a team of nothing but all-stars, because you can recruit them, versus kids that just actually zone for a particular school and just you have to use those kids that you have. So, you know, I thought it was good as well, that, you know, you're going to be private and you're going to recruit, play against other people that can recruit. Let's keep the rules. Let's keep it a level playing field, where, you know, everybody abiding by the same rules that playing against each other. So I wasn't upset with them dividing the public and the private. I wasn't. I thought that was a fair exchange.
Yeah, and for us, if people have been able to see, because our enrollment went up, And, we were happy about that. We're happy that there's only 12 school systems in the whole state whose enrollment went up, because the state lost about 5,000 public school students to whatever it may be, homeschool, private school, but we went up. So we knew that we could celebrate that fact, but that also meant from a athletic standpoint that we were probably going to bump up in a classification if everybody else is going down and we're going up. So it did. It put us into 6A, which technically you could think of as 7A. But we're in a region that is not unfamiliar to us.
Right.
We've been in a very similar region before.
Exactly.
And two of the teams that we have been playing for the last 4 years, Buckhorn and Hazel Green, will both be moving up with us as well. So that's a common opponent to us for the last couple of years. We just played Bob Jones in football. We won that game. They'll be in the same region with us, along with Sparkman. I think Grissom, Huntsville, may be missing one. So when we were in that region before, we weren't unsuccessful. I mean, we played. So, even 6A is going to have some, it's 6A as we just got out of is pretty stout at times too. There's a lot of good teams that play in 6A. So it's going to be competitive one way or the other.
Right.
It's just, our coaches will accept it. Our coaches will coach hard like they always do. Our kids will prepare, and we'll put the best product we can on the field, the court, the track, the tennis court, wherever it may be.
Awesome. Just give us one last pitch that you would like to share with our parents and all of our students as you get ready to sign off with us on today. What is it that you want them to take from this interview? What did you want to share with them moving forward? I know there are some things this board and yourself has been talking about for about 4 or 8 years. You've been in the mix. We're looking forward to trying to do what we've been discussing about consolidating our middle schools. We got a lot going on into one middle school, like we have one high school, so that everyone can have the same resources and have the same curriculum. Everyone can have the same thing. No one will come up short. What you want to share? Do you want to share anything about that?
I mean, you're right on what you say. It's shared resources. It's upgraded. It's an upgrade. It would be an upgraded building. It would be built for safety, technology. We'd like to add a career tech component at the middle school level. So there's a lot that we would love to do, and it's something that you already know as a board member that we talk about. That's for us as a school system. We have a lot of schools for a school system our size. If you want to compare us to a Pell City or Oxford that's similar in student enrollment, we have around 5,000 there. They're close to the same, but they're operating with 3 or 4, maybe 5 schools. We operate with 12. So our overhead is a lot more compared to a school system similar to size for us. So it's
especially with the old buildings that we have.
When you get into utility cost and maintenance, so it's not that we would want to. No one is wanting to take someone, say, neighborhood school away from them. It's just a matter of how long are we expected to operate old schools that we've had for a while, and we can't afford to replace every school.
Right.
That's just a lot to ask for. But if we consolidated and move some things around, try to the resources that would help us financially as a system to reduce the overhead that we have operating so many schools. So there's a lot of factors that go into a decision to talk about consolidation. And, you said the main part. Every kid had the same opportunities. So, but yes, that's certainly on the table. Certainly something we discuss. A lot of that is financially. What can we afford to do? We don't want to leave the system in a situation where those that follow myself or follow you down the road or whomever, we don't want to leave them with a burden that the system can't afford. So there's a lot of talking points that go into that.
Right. We have a lot of people that is cheering you on, said 10 more years for Mr. Blackwell. And then Miss Maness said to make sure you mention the Scholar Bowl.
Yeah, Scholar Bowl. She, that's one thing of those of you that know Miss Maness. She's gonna make sure she's got me pointed in the right direction. So I give her that. She's my work wife, so to speak. So Yeah, she while you're saying that, she's also texted me and said, yeah, Scholars Bowl. Yeah, Scholars Bowl has done as most everyone knows. I know we all get caught up in athletics and we all want to win the state championship in athletics, and so do we. Look, I coached there the girls for a while. I wanted to win every year that we played. You know, you've been involved. You know, when your brother coached Enrico, he wanted to win every year. We all want to win. No one goes into a season.
It ain't as easy as you can have a wheel, but it don't mean
no.
It's going to happen.
As you know, I'll say this: a lot of schools have athletes. You know, you know, there's a lot of other schools that work hard to do, you know, to win games. So we all want to win, but academically, you know, Gadsden, Alabama, Gadsden City, the home of the defending state Scholars Bowl champions. And we do that in JV. We do that in middle school. And I know people don't get to see that. You hear about it. You know, you may read and you may look on some of our social media pages and our Facebook page, but you don't necessarily get to watch them compete. It's not like walking and paying a ticket, walking to a gym. You just hear about it.
Right.
But I get that opportunity to go and see them. And it's impressive. It's impressive when they sit in a room with other schools and they all have their buzzers and they all, you know, these kids have studied and they put a lot of practice into this. They don't just show up, and they practice a lot. And when our kids are just pounding those buzzers and answering those questions, and other schools look around like going, how are we supposed to beat these guys? It's a proud moment for me as superintendent and our principals. I mean, because we're proud of those kids. I don't think it gets talked about enough, honestly, because, like I said, everybody's so driven by athletics. When I understand that, look, I've lived in Alabama my whole life. I know how important sports are, but those kids, they work. They really do. They
awesome.
work. So we're proud of them, very proud of them, and all of you know, from Colonel Davenport to Dr. Bliss, all the ones involved with the Scholars Bowl, all the parents getting them around everywhere, the traveling they do, because they go, as you already know, as a board member, you see those field trip requests where they go everywhere.
Exactly.
Obviously, you guys don't hesitate to approve that. So
right.
That's a big part of what we do too. But you asked me a minute ago, you know, I guess anything to say as I go. I certainly appreciate what y'all do. Can I call you Tea Time since that's what it said on your thing? Because I called Bishop T when we first did this. That was my first time to meet Councilwoman Latham, so it was pretty cool to call her Bishop T. But anyway, I appreciate you doing this. We certainly appreciate your work as a board member. And as me and you have both said before, this isn't something where I'm trying to, you know, build you, you know, trying to relationship here by praising you, but I do appreciate what you do. And I think I've said that for our board members. We have a very good, strong board, cheerleaders. And like I told y'all at the board appreciation time, I think that our 7 board members are really good cheerleaders for our school system. I mean, people may not always agree with our decisions, and I get that. That's part of choosing what I do, choosing what you do. But honestly, we sit together as a group and we try to come up with the best decisions we can for our students. No one goes into any meetings we have or work sessions without thinking about that. So I just want people to know that, that you may sometimes say, well, why are they doing this? I can't believe they did that. It's not because we want something negative to happen. We're trying to push our system forward. We're trying to be the best system that we can be, offer our kids the most choices, the most opportunities.
Correct.
And so I always ask, and you've heard me say this a lot, you know, we need involvement. We're only going to be good as our parents getting involved with what we do. Read at a young level. Read kindergarten through 3rd grade is a big deal. Read to those kids at home. Let them read to you. The more you can help them. I sent you that picture today. I think you may have saw that picture where all the
yes. Sit at the round table.
That's what we talked about.
Right.
You know? And we talked about a lot of the weaknesses that they all share in report card data is, you know, something like comprehension. Like our kids can read you the words and they can spell the words for you. But, you know, when you're at home with your children, let them read to you and maybe ask them, what does this word mean? Or read this sentence to me. So any help we can get at home or in the churches or at the grandparents' house or the aunts and uncles, we desperately need that.
That old saying, help us help you.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. So again, Thank y'all. Tea time. Nice to meet you again.
Me too. So
So I thank y'all. I guess, or
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming on, and of course, we'll have you on again. I want to let me give a shout out to our board members. First of all, our assistant superintendent, Miss Sharon Maness. We want to thank Miss Donna Smoot for all she does. Miss Kelly Swafford is the superintendent secretary, and she keep everything that provide everything for us. We also want to thank our board chair, Judge Milliken, is our board chair. Our vice chair is Mark Dayton, and then we have Miss Adrian Reed. We have Miss Rita Smith. We have Mr. Mike Haney, and we have Miss Nancy Stewart and myself. And so we thank all of you for all you do. We have a lot of directors at the board, and we appreciate our directors as well as our principals, our faculty, our staff, the teachers, instructors, all the way down to those who actually work in the maintenance, as well as our custodians, our cafeteria workers. We just have a great system, and you will be blessed if you come and join us. Thank you, Superintendent Mr. Blackwell, for joining us. And until next time, you have a great one. Okay, y'all show some love to Mr. Blackwell as he leaves. You just flood the timeline with hearts. Go ahead and flood it with hearts, and tell him thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
All right, have a good one, man. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. We want to thank Mr. Blackwell for being a part of our show on tonight. Had a good conversation, and we hope that you was able to get some information of what has taken place and what we have planned to take place with the Gadsden City school system. We have a lot going on. We didn't cover it all. Mark Dayton mentioned about us selling the old Gadsden High School building, which was a plus for us. And we have so many things that we could have discussed. And it was planned just to go for about 15, 20 minutes. And we almost went almost an hour with him. So Tomarra, what kind of tea do you have for us tonight?
I got a few things, but that's good information though. Good information.
It is.
So that, parents, they need to know they play a role into the, the success. So that's good information though. Good information. When he was talking, I was just looking up some of the stats. Y'all got a lot of students at Gadsden City High School. It's a lot of kids there.
Exactly.
About over 11. So yeah. Yeah, so with the tea, it's a lot. But I'll kind of sum it up a little bit. Sometimes I pick and choose what I feel like is appropriate. So, but what caught my eye was Lil Wayne, and I think everybody know the rapper Lil Wayne.
Yes.
Well, he what caught my eye about this particular article is that he's opened up a free recovery and medical facility. And he opened it in Nashville. And I was like, Nashville? Wonder why he opened it in Nashville when he's from New Orleans. Well, so as I was reading it, it stated that I guess they featured him they have a Black music museum or something like that. And so they had featured him. So, but anyway, he opened a 200-bed facility in Nashville, Tennessee. Again, it's free recovery, drug recovery and medical center, and it's for the homeless. And it's called Lil Wayne Haven. So I thought that was interesting. So hats off to Lil Wayne
any kind of kindness that are being shown to the least and the less
absolutely
is welcome in this time and day. in this
Right.
time and day, because we have a lot of evil things going on in our country that we're gonna have to get get a hold of and try
Right.
to change it. So that's
Right.
good.
And so the center, it will provide, of course, emergency care, mental health, and cancer screenings.
Okay.
So pretty good. Um, the next thing I saw was that it was like Charles Barkley and Tiger Woods. They were really good friends way back when. Um, but this particular article stated that they were no longer friends. Um, that was interesting to me. Did you know that?
I didn't know that they was really friends, and I knew he was good friends with Michael Jordan, and
Yeah,
that went south. And it only went south because Charles Barkley was willing to tell Michael Jordan what no one else would tell him,
right,
and that
right,
he surround himself around yes people, and
right.
nobody wants to tell him no because they're on his payroll. And
Mhm.
that's I didn't think that was mean. It was the truth. But they hadn't spoken years. I didn't know anything about the relationship between Charles Barkley and Tiger Woods. I
Yeah,
like Charles Barkley. He
yeah.
honest. He gonna say
Mhm.
what he need to say.
He
Charles Barkley relationship with a lot of people is like me and Mr. Haney's relationship. Me and Mr. Haney, I love that man. I love that man. You know why I love Mr. Haney? A lot of people, he say it's raining, it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, he's gonna tell you, he's gonna be honest with you. I can respect someone who's straight up and honest with me
Right.
versus someone who's trying to pull cover over my eyes. You follow what I'm saying? Just keep it real and let me process it the
Mm-hmm.
way I need to process it, and we can talk about it. But if
Right.
you're not keeping it real and you say one thing and I find out it's another thing, and then I
Mhm.
just, it's hard for me to try to respect someone like that. But
Right.
we'll go on.
So at one time, Tiger Woods, I think Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley, they all lived in Orlando, Florida. But the article talked about how Tiger always, like, he was not sociable at all. Um, but he was focusing on beating Jack Nicklaus's record. And the article talked about how Charles said that he was very like standoffish, things like that. But that was just something that caught my
Petty.
eye.
That's petty. You falling out because somebody said you standoffish? I can see him being standoffish. You
Yeah,
know,
well,
I can see that. I mean, that's petty. I mean, you getting upset about that? We
yeah,
fall out over simple stuff. That's
right.
crazy. You
Well,
know.
it just said that he was so wrapped up into golf and beating Jack
Okay,
Nicklaus.
okay. That explains why you standoffish. But don't
Right.
get upset because I say you standoffish and you standoffish. What you upset about? You admitting yourself. Oh, I'm focused on this. Okay, I understand that. It's a reason why you standoffish. But
Right.
don't get mad because I say you standoffish. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. We fall
Mhm.
out over silly stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me bring this up real quick.
Hmm.
There's a possibility there's going to be a partial government shutdown. I don't know if you had that prepared to talk about, but a partial government shutdown. And of course, I know people are going to blame the Democrats
Right.
because the Democrats is not going to go along with this bill. The reason why it may be a partial government shutdown is because they do not want to fund or continue to fund these people that run ICE or Homeland Security that are
Right.
going around here, and within 2 weeks they have killed two innocent people, you
Right.
know, and they're just constantly just moving around. No one know their identity. They're covering
Mhm.
their face, and a lot of people are saying they wouldn't be surprised if some of these people that are ISIS or Homeland Security that are doing these raids or some of the Proud Boys or some of those January 6 people,
Right.
because they won't reveal the identity of these people. And even those that have killed 2 innocent people. You can say what you want to say about a person having a gun at a rally, but you have to understand they took the gun from the guy before they shot him multiple times. You shooting in a car that is moving, which is illegal. Anybody else will be thrown under the jail.
Right.
And these people don't even have their day in court because they won't even reveal the identity of the people that are doing the shooting. This is crazy. This is madness. You can't justify, you can't make sense out of some of this stuff. And so giving these people all this money to go around and just tackling people and killing people, innocent people, nonsense. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Not, shut it down.
That's what I say.
I had somebody mention something about Tuberville. I hope he don't become governor of Alabama. When people start throwing names to me and I know what they stand for and they have shown their true colors, and if you support these people, then it's saying something about you.
That's
because none of these people know anything about politics. Tuberville don't even know the branches. And then they trying to push these people in based on their popularity. AJ McCarron, he's a good football player. Yeah. But what makes just because he's a good football player, that means he'll be a good what was he going to run for? Lieutenant governor. He pulled his name out because now he's a football coach. I've seen this McMahon lady. Her husband is Vince McMahon. She's over education. Don't have a clue. She don't have a clue. You done froze up on me. But she don't have a clue of what she's doing with the Department of Education. You're back. But you have Vince McMahon. It's people with money or popular people that has been agreeing with Trump. And there was a man that called him out. The Democrats said, y'all talk negative about him behind his back. But when the cameras come on, you support everything he's doing. But y'all don't call him all out of his name. But things are changing. And the government could be a partial shutdown. And I know that's not popular with some people to go against the grain or go against what's going on in our country. But our country is madly out of control.
Out of control.
Madly out of control. And anybody that try to make sense, I tell people, don't try to make sense out of nonsense because there ain't no sense in it.
It's none. You can't make sense. Can't.
So I just wanted to throw that in there, but go ahead. We got about 4 minutes.
Okay. Well, let's see. Just kind of, last week we had Miss Lynn Jones on that the journalist from Jacksonville Free Press. Well, I read today that Pam Oliver, y'all know Pam Oliver, she was the sports journalist.
I don't know her.
Yeah,
I may have seen her. I may have need to see a picture of her, but by name, I can't.
Oliver, she's the black sports journalist. She's on ESPN.
Okay. I probably know if I see her.
Yeah, right. So anyway, she's getting inducted into the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame. She says that her trailblazing presence and decades of excellence on the sideline of the NFL and beyond paved the way for Black women in sports journalism. So I just thought that was interesting, being the fact that on last week we was able to have Miss Lynn Jones on. So that's a good thing. So real quick, anybody want a Tesla? You want a Tesla?
I don't.
Well, Elon Musk says he's selling them for the low.
He can give them away. I don't want one. Those things I hear a lot of negative things about those Teslas. I've heard of someone the electrical went out on it and the doors would not open and individuals burnt up on the inside of the vehicle and died. So, those who like electric cars or who want an electric car, God bless you. Have fun with it. But
Well,
it's not for me.
He's going to discontinue the Model S and the Model X. So he's saying that his goal is to focus on the future. And what I thought was strange was that, well, not really strange, but the stock went up on Wednesday. And it says after the company beat the earnings expectations, and what they're trying to do is gonna focus more on more robots.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Who you got? Seattle or New England for the Super Bowl?
New England.
What? You got to be kidding me.
New England.
Okay, tell me why you like New England over Seattle. Do you know who played for New England? See there, and you're rooting for him.
Look, all I know, what's his name? Tom Brady.
He's no longer at New England.
I know, but that's when I think of New England, I think about
it's no longer. That's Drake. Is made there now. Man, Sam Arnold is having an amazing season. Kenny Walker III is having an amazing season. And you got Cooper Kupp, you got Smith. I can't pronounce his last name, but I think I'm got to go with Seattle. I think they have a high power offense. Okay. I know defense win championships, but high power offense. And speaking of New England, Belichick not getting in on first ballot. What's your view on that? Did you know that?
I didn't.
Okay, Bill Belichick name came up to go into the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick have 6 championship rings. Right. He have actually 8. He have 2 when he was the defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. He have 8 Super Bowl rings. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. You can argue all day long. If it wasn't no Belichick, there would be no Brady. Or if it wasn't no Brady, there'll be no Belichick. We can argue that, just like if it wasn't for Jordan, there'll be no Phil Jackson. Or if it wasn't for Phil Jackson, there'll be no Michael Jordan. But at the end of the day, you do not vote this man in his first. I know it's the first ballot. It's on the first ballot. Mm-hmm. But arguably, when I thought about sports, and when I say the face of the NFL at the time when Belichick was a coach, I said Belichick is the face of NFL. Nick Saban is the face for college football. And I said Popovich was the face of the NBA at the time when those people was coaching. Right. You cannot overlook this man and all his accomplishments. Right. And if you do, here's the thing that you're going to have to do. If you're trying to blame the Spygate or the inflated football or said he cheated, if you're going to blame him for that, the reason why you kept him out, when Brady get ready to go in, you're going to have to keep him out too.
Right, that's
and let's see if you're going to, what they say, if you're going to keep the same energy. And that's what they say. Let's see if you're going to keep the same energy when it comes to Tom Brady. You know. Now he just as guilty because them footballs, Bill didn't throw the footballs. That was Tom that had them to take some air out the football. Now let's be real.
But why you?
But William McCoy said that he think it's personal why Bill didn't get voted in, and it could very well be. You know, they said, well, he was kind of rough with the press. That has nothing to do with his accomplishments, but who knows? There's Stephen A. said they ought to boycott, and I think it was Jimmy Johnson who said he's not going to the Hall of Fame this year because of what they did to Bill Belichick. So it's a lot of people coming out against that. So
he deserve it.
He do. So I don't know how they're going to justify it, but they nowadays in our country in which we're living, they found a way to justify pretty much anything they want to. And when it's something that they don't want to address, it's fake news.
That's right.
Anyway, it's been fun as always. You want to do your sign off? That's your
Okay.
sign off.
Yeah, that's my sign off. No, I'm just playing. But no, everybody, y'all have a good weekend. I'll come back with you next week with some more tea.
All right. And thank you all for joining us. And until next Thursday, you have a blessed night.